Bulletcast for life.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is I, the microphone messiah, Phillip Antoine, joined by Marlee and Brandon. What's going on, guys?
What's up?
What's
up? Chilling. We got a long I have a long weekend ahead. A lot of wrestling is going on both in the Bay Area and on television. So make sure you check it all out wherever you may be. If you're in the Bay Area, you know where to pull up to. We're gonna talk about that at the end of the show. Hello. Let's go outside the ring. Unfortunately, we have lost another member of the pro wrestling world. Psycho Sid Vicious has passed away. He had been dealing with cancer for some time. Former member of the Skyscrapers, the master and ruler of the world, is no longer with us. Brandon, what are your thoughts?
That's sad, died way too young, but in some terms longer than some of his other peers. But I've been thinking about Sid, and he's had like a strange career. It's kind of hard to like place him. I don't really know like where to put him in terms of like legacy and like where he ranks all time, just because he was in WCW, he was in WWF, and he's a two-time WrestleMania main eventer. But if you go over the list of like multiple-time WrestleMania main eventers, he's probably down at the bottom. But he had like a certain type of charisma. He had the look. In-ring wise, it kind of wasn't all there, but he had a he had a interesting career. And for like people like us who might be, we're too young to kind of watch him live, people kind of know him for like the infamous stuff and kind of the quirky things he would say. And unfortunately, that leg break kind of ended his career. But
I guess that's the thing we have in common, the devastating breaks, huh? It never like translated to me, I guess, obviously, because he wasn't wrestling when I was growing up watching it. Maybe if I was growing up in the early to mid 90s, maybe it would have translated better. I mean, the only time I actually saw him wrestle live on television was Raw 1000 when he defeated Heath Slater, but yeah, I mean, multiple time world champion. And like you said, kind of the quirky things are what he's best known for. What didn't he do the Wasn't it him? Or like, sorry, we're live, pal. Wasn't that Psycho Sid?
Yeah. Why me? Goldberg.
Yes, with the car. Marlee, any thoughts about the life and career of Psycho Sid Vicious?
Psycho Sid was actually one of my favorite wrestlers. I wouldn't put him on the Mount Rushmore, but he would be in my top 10. Because when I was doing the High Wrestling podcast, I, for a minute, would go back and watch the big 5 pay-per-views. So Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, King of the Ring, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. I started like late 90s, ended in like the early 2000s. And every time like I recapped my favorite matches or like my favorite matches of the year or my favorite wrestlers of the year, Psycho Sid somehow made his way onto the list. So it's very sad. So I'm kind of bummed by the news a bit.
Yeah, people like of our generation, like I don't normally hear that, so that's very interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Marlee was a big Psycho Sid fan. Shout out. Did you
Yeah.
enjoy baseball and softball like he did?
I'm a Giants fan. Like I'd
Okay.
say peak like that even year streak that they were on, that was when I was like peak Giants fan. I do kind of peak on what they're doing now, but Like baseball here and there, not so much
Okay.
softball.
Okay. Brandon's a big A's fan over here.
We don't talk about that.
That's okay. Hey, man. Come on, man.
Yeah,
I like baseball on
Oakland,
occasion.
Oakland born and raised. Let's not talk about the A's.
It's okay. Y'all gotta pick a team from the past where it was just great, and that's all you think about. Shout out to my 85 Mets. Shout out Daryl Strawberry. Anyway, Jesse the Body Ventura was on Chris Van Vliet's Inside podcast, and he announces that he has signed a new deal, a Legends deal with the WWE. He said it attributed to, Vince being gone and whatnot. Thoughts on the Body being back in the WWE family? Marlee.
I feel like the last time I saw Jesse Ventura on WWE programming, he was Raw general manager for a night when they had the Raw general managers every Monday. But
Was he one of them?
I want to say that he was
Brandon,
for a
we need the
night.
stat. We need the stat.
I mean, they probably rolled through Minnesota one time and he was there. Let's see.
Yeah, because that's what, like, 09 ish. Yeah, because
Yeah. But I remember like he was running for governor and he made like a one-time appearance. But I think it's pretty cool. I'm not too familiar with Jesse Ventura outside of that one appearance. But
the Body, yeah,
once
Governor was actor a little bit back in the day. One of the first like beloved commentators, of the time. People loved him. Obviously, like during that era, you're gonna love like your Bobby Heenans and your Jesse the Bodies and stuff like that. Brandon, well, did he was he a guest general manager of Monday nights?
Let's see. Yes, Ventura was a guest host on November 23rd, 2009.
Jesus,
okay, that's
that
like
in a couple
the
months
only extent.
that'll be 15 years. That's wild. That 2009 was 15 years ago. Brandon, thoughts on the Body coming back?
Yeah, I mean, it's not shocking, but it is nice to see that he's kind of back in the fold. Him and Vince, not exactly the best of friends. I mean, he did that Survivor Series, or not Survivor Series, SummerSlam referee spot back in '99, and after saying some bad things about Vince, money kind of quiets all, I guess. But yeah, Triple H is known for healing these types of relationships. He did it with Bruno and Ultimate Warrior, and going back to SummerSlam '99, Triple H was in that match, so they probably have some sort of relationship.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously, like you mentioned, Hunter. He has such an appreciation for the history of this business and the people that paved the way. He is known for making those amends. So, shout out to Triple H for doing that. Gable Steveson has been cut from the Buffalo Bills.
You just absolutely hate to see it. Unfortunately, I kind of was tripping, did not do the weekly Gable Steveson tape recap. We went over like his first week. He had like, I don't know, 10 snaps. But like I said, he's not Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar probably could have made the Minnesota Vikings, but he just was a little too old. And Gable Steveson, I just don't think he had that type
How
of
old was
raw
Brock?
strength. I
Was
think
he
he was like
27 at the time? 28?
20, 25, 26, something like that. Because like if he was like 4 years younger, if he was like right out of college or if he was right out of college, graduated from Minnesota, and he went on the practice squad, they said he probably would have signed him. But he's just a little too old for them. Gable Steveson, I saw it as a gimmick the entire way, so I was not surprised to see him getting cut. And
Yeah,
obviously, he wasn't even good enough to make it on the practice squad for you. So you don't know. Usually, you're like on the team, but not really on the team. You kind of are like on the yeah. So
bro.
not
Like
even good to be that.
his first time playing football was on an NFL team. That's crazy. Like, really think about that. That's wild. That's a crazy stat. Swerve signs a 5-year deal, 5-year extension with AEW, the former world champion. Spoiler alert. Go check out the recap that Brandon did. It's up. You can listen to it.
Better late than never.
Yes, it's fantastic. Marlee, thoughts on the guy who claims it's his house staying with the company that he's with?
I feel like he's been a great asset to AEW. He's like versatile and flexible and how he can like transition from face to heel so quickly because the way I see it is he'll do anything to protect his title when he was champion, but he'll pretty much do anything to get to the top. So I think like in character work, presentation, in-ring ability, it's a great asset. So I'm glad he's sticking with AEW.
Brandon, thoughts on Swerve staying with AEW?
Expected. He's been doing great work over there, and I mean, truly like one of the big success stories of AEW. Taking him as a guy who kind of flirted around in the mid card of NXT, and he gets cut. He goes to AEW, and he kind of floated around there for a little bit, but then he finally just kind of something clicked, and they found his his gimmick, and I think he's going to be for those 5 years. He's going to be at or near the top for a majority of that time.
Absolutely, and it looks like we're gonna get a little reignition of his feud with Hangman Page, and they did great business together. Like I was really happy with that. I know I say my things about AEW. People don't come for me because that's kind of what happens in this internet game. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed their feud. It had a realism to it that I loved, and they just did good business together, man. So I'm excited to see what else they do. I really am. Moving on from that, let's get into some fan mail. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Go over to the DMs. Skis. Shout out to the DMs. All right, let's see. Embrace Day X.
Mr. X.
Rest in peace to the master and ruler of the world, Sid. He was one of the most intimidating big men of his time, and his power bomb is underrated. I will say that he did have a good power bomb. God bless Orange Cassidy for that tribute to Mr. Bean at the beginning of his entrance. I popped a big for that. All you Mr. Bean fans, I'm sure you did. Should they have saved Ricochet for after Osprey won back the international title, then have him come out to tease the next chapter in the rivalry? I think him being in that casino gauntlet was fine. Come out there, get your shine on, do a couple big moves, and then and just keep it pushing. I think what they did was fine. What are your thoughts? Should they have saved Ricochet for after the Osprey match?
I thought
I
it was
mean,
fine.
yeah, I mean the secret was out at that point, and Osprey has a thing with Pac, and we did see them interact a little bit on Dynamite today, so they're not running away from it. So maybe we do get that at Wrestle Dream or Grand Slam, whatever comes after the All Out. So I thought what they did was fine. He, got a spotlight. He wasn't like I think Nigel McGuinness was kind of more of a bigger part of that gauntlet match than Ricochet was, but he got
Yeah,
to do
I
his
mean,
thing.
we'll talk about that. Marley, did you have anything about the Osprey and Ricochet going after each other? Should that have happened right there?
Nah, I feel like the way it's set up was fine because Ricochet is a star on his own. Osprey is a star on his own. Having Ricochet debut in the Gauntlet match was the smart thing to do because you can set up Osprey and Ricochet down the line like they did on Dynamite tonight.
The best thing Ricochet does is his flippy doos, and he can do that in the gauntlet match. And him just standing there doing face to face with Osprey would have been cool, but I just don't think it would have had that big of an effect.
Like there
Lastly,
wasn't enough context like
yeah,
right away.
yeah. Yeah, that's something like if you were watching the Indies like 6 or 7 years ago, this is what happened. But not everybody was doing that. He also lastly asked if we don't get Nigel McGuinness versus Brian Danielson, how or now then what the hell are we doing? I've always loved Nigel McGuinness's continuity. That's one thing I've always truly loved about him. When he's calling Brian Danielson matches and still throwing those digs from like 15, 16, 17 years ago. I've always loved that. And yeah, man, if we can get one, that would be cool. I mean Nigel was okay enough to be in the what you call it in the gauntlet, which congrats to him, man. I know that's something he's been working for a very long time. So happy for that to happen. But yeah, what are your thoughts on McGuinness and Danielson doing it one more time?
Just had this conversation with one of my friends that if Danielson retires, I feel like Nigel McGuinness would have to be his last match just for the history and the continuity. And it just like I'm noticing that AEW does kind of plant seeds, so I might be reaching here, but having Nigel return, having Danielson retain, it kind of like adds up to them meeting down the line, maybe for the title before Danielson hangs it up. But I don't know. I can see it happening.
Yeah, I think
Brandon.
it just kind of depends on what they have in mind for Danielson. Like if it's a short run, if he's only going to be around for like 2 months, then maybe we don't do a Nigel McGuinness thing. But if he is going to be around for like say 4 to 6 months, then I think you could get a pay-per-view main event out of that. So I think it all just kind of depends on what they want to do with the Danielson title run.
I see. I see. I mean, how well, I mean, we'll talk about that once we get to the all in of it all. But moving on, SmackDown. Jacob Fatu was told to give up his tag title to Tonga Loa, so the Gorillas of Destiny officially WWE Tag Team Champions. You saw the look and hurt on Bro's face. I was like, oh no, oh no. But he still loves Solo. Marlee, thoughts on Jake relinquishing the title to Tonga Loa?
feel like that if that falls under the Freebird role, because
Yeah, I mean, I've never honestly been a fan of the Freebird rule. I'm gonna be like real with y'all. I've never I felt like the person who won the title should have the championship. That's just me. Yeah, Brandon, you have any thoughts on this?
I mean, it has precedent. I mean, New Day did it back in the day, and the whole thing of just like give it to Tongaloa. I don't know. I mean, I feel like that is something like there's no real good way to do it. So I guess they maybe just pick like the lesser of two evils.
The title swap, basically. You guys remember when they were doing the title swap? That was interesting.
You know,
yeah, I think they had
Becky and
to.
Charlotte just shoot, drop it, and get into each other.
I was gonna say, I
Yeah,
think they had to stop that after the Becky Charlotte situation.
yeah, the title. That's why the non-branded titles. That's just the way you do it, man. It's easier that way. It's easier for all of it that way. Yeah, all right, moving on from that. Grayson Waller effect. They're doing the thing. They're trying to tell Cody Rhodes, hey, Kevin Owens will turn on you. They play the video package of him turning on everybody. Glad Chris Jericho was in it, don't shy away from the history. And Kevin Owens, he comes out there and says, yeah. Look, I know I did all that. I didn't mean to do it to Kofi. That was my bad. Sets up the tag match. I love how he's like, yeah, we already know where this is going. They come out there. Nick Aldis comes out there. Anyway, Waller in theory lose to Rhodes and Kevin Owens. Owens has the championship. Looks like he's about to hit him, but he hands the title over to Cody. Brandon, what are your thoughts?
Once again, subtlety, not exactly WWE's strong suit, which maybe they're leading into it because Kevin Owens isn't going to turn heel, but this does kind of seem the way they're going of him turning and then getting another match out of it. But it's definitely an interesting thing to do because kind of everyone is thinking it. So might as well just kind of get ahead of it and just be like, all right, everyone is thinking it, so we're not just going to shy away from it.
Marlee.
I think they're making it blatantly obvious that like the setup is Kevin turning on Cody at Bash in Berlin, but I feel like they might throw a curveball. I don't think Kevin is going to turn. He's turned just because he's turned in the past doesn't mean he's going to turn now. I feel like is the story that they're trying to tell.
I see. Um, I don't know. I saw on the internet somebody was saying like, "Oh, what Cody should turn," and I'm like, "No, we haven't had a baby face like this in a long time. Why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense."
I mean, CM Punk is giving him a run for his money right now with those promos.
Hey, shout out CM Punk and what you call it? The what people gave it 6 months. We're at the six. We've been past the 6 month mark. Can
Oh
we
yeah,
say
no.
it's
I mean,
been
if you take out injury time, has it been 6 months?
it's been they said 6 months. They it's been 6 months. So come on now. Yeah. LA Knight retains the United States Championship, defeating Santos Escobar. I like it. Keep it going. He issued an open challenge in Berlin. I wonder who's going to answer that. Maybe somebody from TNA, huh? What do you thought, Marlee? What do you thought?
That would be something if somebody from TNA answered the open challenge because that's more exposure for TNA,
If if
putting the young wrestler on the map.
if Joe Hendry wasn't doing his thing right now in NXT, if his music would have hit there, that would have been popping.
That would have been a huge pop because I'm not good at geography, but that could be somewhat of a hometown pop. I know he's Scottish, that might not be anywhere near Berlin, but the European crowd taking him in.
Right. Brandon, thoughts on LA Knight and the US title?
I thought it was a good match, just a solid little mini build for a mid-card title, and LNI continues to get over. I think he's got a little bit of a bump since his SummerSlam match and with his title win, so I think he's in a good spot. Santos Escobar, loses another match. I think maybe the ship is sailing him kind of being anything in WWE. He's just kind of like leveled in that mid-card heel role, which yeah, I feel like he could be more, but I'm not gonna like die on that hill.
I see. I see. Uh, I feel like he could be something. We just gotta wait and see. Let's talk about AEW All In. Really, really talk about it. Marlee, tell us what were your thoughts on the show?
I thought it was okay. I think I said it was mid at some point, but that's just like it's settled in for a few days, and I thought it was like a decent show. Like it started off strong, but towards the end it kind of dwindled down, so they kind of lost me in the halfway point. But let me pull up the match card here. Really enjoyed Mariah May and Tony Storm. That was a nice little cap to their story. I think that's about it. Because around Mercedes and Britt Baker, I went to go hang out with you guys. But I thought it was a decent show. It was a nice way to spend Sunday morning.
Brandon, I mean, you don't have to give your extensive thoughts, but just some.
I'm not gonna sit here for 50 minutes and recap the entire show. If you want me to do that, go listen under the
Yeah,
radar. But
it was
I mean,
very long.
I thought it was a good show. I do think the main event kind of put it over the top for me, kind of like saved the show, quote unquote. I gave it a B plus overall. Spoiler alert. And I think like the two matches that kind of had the most build in Swerve and Bryan and Mariah May Tony Storm, those matches delivered. Everything else was just kind of there. Um, MJF and Osprey was good, not great, I thought. And Mercedes and Britt, I thought was a disappointment. I don't understand why they put that match so late in the card instead of Mariah May and Tony Storm, but whatever, gotta please both their egos, I guess.
Yeah, it was not what it was built up to be, for sure. And the 16-man tag and the 10-man tag in the
There was a
zero hour,
16-man tag.
there was a lot going on.
It was a
There was
get
a
everyone on
six
the show pre-show.
Bro,
there was a lot going on.
can't keep doing that, bro.
There was a 16-man and a 10-man tag. Lots happening.
I'll give my thoughts. Mariah May winning the title, great move as she should. I like her presentation. I'm a fan, so we'll see what she does there. Um, Christian Cage and them losing the trios title is interesting, and then going into the gauntlet and I think the Tron said Luchasaurus. Like, oh, okay, is he turning back? We're gonna get a babyface Luchasaurus, but nonetheless, he helps Christian Cage win to get an opportunity at the world title anytime he wants. TNT title, glad Jack Perry retained. That was a smart move. Sting coming back, big pop. Everybody still loves the icon. The Young Bucks retaining the tag titles. Could have you could have went with FTR again, but nonetheless, they'll keep them. Like I said, Nigel McGuinness coming back was awesome. Love to see that. The Tiger Driver got reintroduced, to beat Maxwell Jacob Friedman back to the international title. No more America's champion. And then the main event, the right business was done. A Swerve looked like he looked hella badass, just wiping off the knee. You're like, that's not gonna phase me, bruh. But nonetheless, Bryan Danielson is the AEW World Champion. 10 years apart from two massive championship wins in massive stadiums. That doesn't happen. That really doesn't happen. His wife was there, his children were there. Great moment, great moment. Shout out to Bryan Danielson, and let's see what he does as the All Elite Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. All right, we've talked about that. Dory Funk had a death match at 83 years old. Brennan, how do you feel about this?
Um, I mean, it happened. It was the Terry Funk Memorial Show, so there was a reason behind it. I don't really, and there was like a spot where he like lightly walked into like exploding barbed wire. He's still alive. God bless him. But I don't really think we should be having 83-year-olds doing exploding barbed wire death matches over in Japan.
There was a guy in this match that had to sign a waiver because he has cancer.
Well,
Yeah, to talk about death match. Marlee, thoughts?
Um, I'm kind of the the cancer thing. What? No, okay. I
Yeah,
definitely would not let Dory Funk in a match at 83. We can definitely uh limits on her career, but the cancer thing,
yeah.
what?
There was a list that came out after this match happened. He's like the fifth oldest person to ever have a match. You know who the oldest person is to ever wrestle? Good old Mae Young. I think she was
Oh
like
yeah,
80,
Mae Young.
87 or 88 years old when she had her last match. It was like 2014.
Regardless, that there should be an age limit. Just
Hey,
me.
there's the people still out here doing this. There's that
Shout,
rest there's that wrestler Mike Jackson. I think he's like 81. He's still going.
all right,
Yeah. Hope
shout out.
Marley, hopefully you and I can keep going to where 80 something, just doing the graps in front of 15,000 people, making them go crazy.
Shit,
No,
we gotta
I'm
start taking magnesium right now.
no, I'm we'll see how long this lasts. Oh man.
Get the
Oh geez.
magnesium to the joints. Maybe we might get somewhere.
AEW Grand Slam is going to Australia February 15th, 2025. Tell us about it, Brandon.
Yeah, AEW announcing this past week they're kind of switching up their scheduling. I don't know if this means a replacement to the Arthur Ashe show, but yeah, we talked about a couple weeks ago that they're coming to Australia, and they announced, yeah, in February they're doing an Australian show, so it should be exciting. Forbidden Door coming to London next year, and then Wembley again in 2026. So they're moving back All In, All Out, which assumably be at the same time, and Forbidden Door will be pushed back until August. So a little shuffling of the AEW big show schedule.
Marley, what are your teas? What are your teas?
I think it's pretty cool. Uh, uh, expanding past London, getting the getting their territories out there. Because I think the last time wrestling was in London was that one Elimination Chamber. It was nice to see that AEW's making the jump to different places. Because I think All In is in Texas next year.
Yes, it is in Texas.
So nice to see that they're expanding.
Um, yeah, I mean, we'll see what's going on. Like Brandon said, this kind of separating or changing up the pay-per-view schedule. When's Forbidden Door going to be again?
I think they just said August. They didn't
August,
say
and
an
it's normally in
exact.
June.
Yeah. So All In and Forbidden Door flip flopping. Hopefully they don't put Forbidden Door late August. They kind of put it in the middle. Maybe it's going to be a reactionary wherever SummerSlam is. They kind of put it a week or two after or before. So we'll have to wait on that.
We shall see. We shall see. All right, Mauro Ronaldo was coming back to commentary. He will be doing commentary for Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. Scott D'Amore has revitalized the company. Mauro Ronaldo, obviously the black and gold era of NXT that everybody loves so much and holds with such a high regard. He was the soundtrack for that. I mean, the doing to do play by play and a little color with the hip hop and pop culture references. Mauro Ronaldo was that guy, and then he came over to SmackDown and was doing it there. Come on now, man. I love it.
OG Under the Radar listeners would know how big of a fan I am of Mauro Ronaldo. So glad to see him back in the wrestling world. I mean, I'd love for him to be back in WWE, but I don't think mental health reasons he doesn't want to go back there. And if he wants to go to AEW, I would love that too, or go back to New Japan. I would love for some more wrestling with Mauro Ronaldo.
He did New Japan for a little bit.
Yeah, the original Access days, I believe he was doing some stuff with Josh Barnett.
Okay. Shout out Josh Barnett. Marley, thoughts on Mauro Ronaldo returning to commentary?
I think it's sick because when I got back into WWE, he was on commentary and he brought like life to the commentary table. Like it was he brought something different to NXT, to SmackDown, and even to boxing because I was at a family member's house one time and boxing was on and I heard like a voice. I'm like, that sounds familiar, and I was lo and behold, it was Mauro Ronaldo. So it's really nice to see how he's reached out to all these different companies, different sports.
Mamma mia! That used to be the thing. I did the thing. Did I do the thing right? I did the thing.
He did a thing.
I did the thing. I
Did the
did
thing.
the thing. Heels returns. I'm excited. Brandon knows I loved Heels on
Stars.
Stars. It was on Stars. They canceled it. I hate them, but it's okay. September 15th, here in a couple weeks, they're dropping 16 episodes, and Stephen Amell said they want to do more. Yo, come on, we gotta run these numbers up, bro. Like we gotta. Marlee, did you watch Heels?
No, but it's been on my list. I'm just really bad at watching TV shows and
Marlee,
binging.
let me tell you. Obviously, there's wrestling in there. You know, CM Punk's in there. I know you love Phil. I love Phil too. But the story, the overall stories of these people, you'll get invested. This is one of the few things that did right by the wrestling business. They get
Okay.
they get the wrestling down right, and then the stories of these individual characters you get invested in. It's kind of like did you watch Glow on Netflix?
I tried to, but I couldn't get into it.
I mean it. I'm not gonna say it has the same feel or anything, but that's just what comes to mind with another thing that did right by the business. Probably because
Yeah.
wrestlers, like actual wrestlers, were involved in all these productions and whatnot. But watch Heels, give it a watch. I absolutely love it. Brendan, did you ever get around to watching it?
I watched either the first, I think I watched the first season. I wasn't like the biggest fan of it, so I didn't watch the second season. More of a fan of Glow, to be honest. I just thought it was kind of more quirky and kind of easier to kind of follow along and get into. But maybe if it's on Netflix, it's a little easier to watch instead of Stars because I don't really have Stars. I had to use like my aunt's
Yeah.
DirecTV. So if it's on Netflix, then maybe I'll give it a second chance.
Okay,
That was
okay,
also
okay.
like the main reason I didn't watch Heels is because I didn't have stars.
I see. I got to step away. Brennan, tell us about JBL at GCW. He attacked Effie. What's going on?
He,
JBL popping up.
yeah,
Triple A, GCW. What's going on?
I have no idea. I mean, JBL out here walking Dolph Ziggler and Nick Nemeth down to the ring at a Triple A show. We got him clothesline and Effie at a GCW show. Um, I don't know what to make of it. Maybe it's just him getting a payday. He's not really on WWE all that much, if at all. I mean, Marley, do you think there's a market for JBL on the indie scene? Is it, I don't think it's going to be as a wrestler, but just kind of like a personality or just someone who just pops up anywhere. I mean, are we going to get a Effie JBL match in a GCW show?
We might. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if GCW makes it happen, but I feel like he's got a specific audience, like from a specific era. So I feel like unless you watched WWE when he was in his prime, this may not like this may not be something that resonates with you seeing JBL in GCW or wrestling for that matter. Because me personally, I wasn't watching WWE when JBL was in his prime, so seeing JBL in GCW or if we get the eventual FE JBL match, I'm kind of like, oh, okay, cool. But I feel like there's just a specific audience that would digest that well.
Yeah, he's 57 years old, so it's not like he's a spring chicken by any means. He's not like even Steve Austin or The Rock, who's like in their or The Rock, who's like in his early 50s. So I don't know what's going to go on with him, but I mean, maybe. I mean, for his maybe off the field opinions, I think he's like a good personality if he goes
Off
on
the
the indie
field
scene.
opinions. What do you do?
But he's more of a, he's a Fox business guy. We'll just leave it at that.
It's called living the gimmick, brother.
As long as he's
Look,
not
JBL. I'm a fan of JBL just because the commitment to the character did not allow them to sell his merch. He became the most hated villain, as much of a hated villain as he could to get guys like Eddie Guerrero and John Cena over. I mean, Eddie obviously beloved and everything, but working with JBL, I feel like added to the beloved Eddie being so beloved, and it helped John, get to it was that first thing that helped John get over the hump to get to the level that he eventually got to. So,
he was also the worst WWE champion in terms of business. But we don't want to talk about that.
what? How?
Business went down when JBL was champion.
I mean, if we really want to look at numbers like that, he's not during a financial period, he's not the worst WWE champion. Business wasn't hot when like Brett or Diesel were champion either. Like let's be real.
Well, a decline. At that sharp of a decline. We also, we all love John Cena 2025 retirement tour, but if you check, the WWE stock from, well, not literal stock, but just popularity over those 20 years, kind of went down the entire time with some spikes every now and then.
But he was selling merch.
He was selling merch to those 12-year-olds, but those 30-year-olds wasn't feeling them. But I forgot we're supposed to love John Cena because he's leaving us, so we love John Cena.
No, I mean, if we really want to look at it, though,
I don't really know how else there is to look at it. Cena took over after the hottest era ever, and it's hard to replicate that. I understand that, but periodically over time,
is this now the hottest era ever, though?
I mean, in terms of pure numbers, one could argue that. I would say maybe Attitude Era wrestling as a whole was more in the zeitgeist than what wrestling is now, but we are more
zeitgeist. Shout out Zeitgeist. We just had a show there. We love them. Shout out SF. I mean, like, look, I will put it. I always say this. Attitude Era, love it. It was a great time. I understand that. Everybody was hot. Everybody was over. The in ring, it was what it was. But I mean, just Cena, like, he did something that Hogan, Austin, and Rock never did. Carried the company for a very, very long time. From what? He gets the title in 2005, and when does he really become a part-timer? 2017?
When could you say Cena, John Cena, not The Rock versus John Cena, spike business? For a long time.
Let's see. I feel like, because when did they start to turn? Like 2007?
I mean, that's after the Chris Benoit stuff, and that was one of the worst times for the company.
The fans start to turn in 2007.
I mean, really, like, you go to like 2006, so like ECW and like that type of stuff. But
I mean, that's just New Yorkers, being. They got something back that they hadn't had in a while, and they were gonna be crazy. That's all that was. Because I'm really trying to think. I remember seeing a lot of John Cena merchandise in the crowd. And obviously, you get the Cena sucks and all that. I want to say, because
it's hard to think of it because it never happened.
No, I won't say it never happened. I want to do that.
I will say, I have a vivid memory of being in first or second grade. Somebody made a T-shirt with a photo of them with John Cena, and they wore it to class.
And
because that one person made that one shirt, John Cena was the greatest WWE champion ever.
Yeah, I just had that vivid memory pop up.
Shout out Christy Pang for burning the John Cena rap tapes in 6th grade. She's the GOAT. Forever will be the GOAT.
I mean, back to this question. What I want to say 2008 to I want to say 2011. I want to say that. I just because
this feud with Orton for the title,
and I would say famously that's one of the worst eras in WWE history.
Nah, that look, man, they was doing some
2009 kind of hit different, but
I think that might be guys' nostalgia talking, but that's just me. What? I mean, I love 2000. I love 2002. 2000
about.
I mean, just from pure business, I feel like 2008, 2011, not a great time for WWE.
I'll say 2011 was kind of went downhill, but 2009, 2010,
I mean, what business? When did business go up? When the Raw went to 3 hours, they got all that money. That business went up. Cena was still the guy.
Business went up in 2012 and 2013 when The Rock came back, and then CM Punk was getting a little buzz.
Well, Punk had the buzz in 2011. You just said that was a terrible year.
Well,
I mean, the summer of Punk happened in like 2011. The pipe bomb and everything.
correct. And once again, they didn't like capitalize on it, I think, as well as they could have. They kind of cut his legs out from under him because he had to have him feud with Kevin Nash for some godly reason and Triple H.
Shout out, well, the Triple H thing and the Authority. That's Punk's anti-authority, so that made sense. The Kevin Nash of it all, I'll never truly understand why that was going on. But yeah, back to the whole JBL of it all.
Oh yeah, we're talking about JBL.
Yes, was when he was WWE champion, it was not the absolute worst time of business in the company's history. It was not. That was the whole.
I mean,
point.
check those SmackDown house shows.
Bro, the SmackDown house shows. I mean, a couple of them. They like people legit tried to kill him. Business was going on. Now let's not get it twisted. During the Eddie feud, business was going on. My point is like 94, 95, not great. Really not great. It's after the Hogan thing. They're kind of the new generation that I feel like is kind of just faded away. It's before you get to the Attitude Era. They're just in a very weird time. I mean, for God's sakes, you get Lawrence Taylor main event one of those WrestleManias that year. Like.
All right, so I pulled this thing up. I don't know how it's from WrestleNomics. This is the worldwide total attendance for WWE. So we got 99 to 2001. They were like 2.5, 2.8, 2.7. Then with 2002, 2.3, 2.0. And then 2004, 2006, 1.8, 1.8, 1.9. Just saying.
So, I mean, are these like as in percentages or
worldwide total?
Worldwide total of house shows.
Of just tickets distributed.
So this is in the million. So this is in the millions.
Yep.
Okay, so is this
and then
so?
And
that's
then
Raw
it does, and then it does go up. As you guys said. But then you can also say that's when they started doing stadium WrestleManias annually, from 2007 onwards, and then
2007 was in an arena. It was in what Detroit.
Well, I'm looking at Detroit was a stadium.
Was that a stadium? 23?
That was Ford Field. That was a Trump one, brother.
Was that a stadium? I could have swore that was still in an arena.
22 was the last one, which is the Rosemont Horizon.
Okay.
Ooh, 2020, 0.3 million. Tough. Yo, what happened in 2020?
I'm sure there's a documentary about it.
I think it's because Drew McIntyre was champion.
Okay, see, I'm not gonna say that. Anyway, let's move on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move on. WWE Bash in Berlin is going on. It's gonna be a card. It is going to be a card. Let's talk about the matches that are going to be happening at this show. So, Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship. I think the American Nightmare's retaining.
Yes, I mean, I think this whole card is pretty predictable. I think it's just kind of what do they do with KO? Is it going to be happy-go-lucky, he's fine with the losing, or he turns here, or maybe he goes a little crazy and then he turns later? I don't know, but I think it's a done deal. Cody wins.
Yeah, I think Cody's retaining. Kevin might turn just because they've set up the obvious, but I don't know. It remains to be seen.
All right, the Terror Twins. Go listen to Dominic Mysterio on the Cheap Heat podcast this week. He said more like the Terror Turds. I like that's funny. Yeah, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley go up against Judgment Day's Dirty Dominic Mysterio and the WWE Women's World Heavyweight Champion. Liv Morgan, you only live once. I'm gonna go with Dom and Liv. I think they take it home. Hmm? Hmm?
Yeah, I think that is the way to go because they're not finished with this. They're going to put more heat on it. Um, I do wonder how the match is constructed because the heat is Dom and Rhea, but the match it's going to have to be Rhea and Liv. That's kind of the one weird thing about this whole feud is like, Damon Priest has whatever 4 guys attacking him at once, while Rhea just has little Liv has to like, take her down every single time.
Well, Dom said he can't hit mommy. He can't do that. But I am trying to see Dom and Rhea face each other at Bad Blood. I think that'd be great. Marley, who you got? The Terror Twins or Judgment Day?
Yeah, I got Dom and Liv because
I love it.
I feel like just too soon for the Terror Twins to get that win. It's like you settle that at Bad Blood. That's where they get their win.
All right. The Unholy Union, Alba Fire and Ilsa Dawn going up against Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. I think Bianca and Jade get them back.
They might.
They might.
I'm picking them.
Okay. Brandon.
I mean, I'll go with Fire and Dawn to retain. I don't like have any conviction behind that.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
you think Bianca and Jade should win, but I feel like them just kind of being stuck in the tag team division is kind of a waste of their talents. And Bianca especially, because she's just kind of with
I think
Jade and
they
not doing much.
I think they lose this, and then we'll kind of move on to maybe the one of them will do something with Nia after not Liv. What's her name? Mia Yim is done. All right. It is a strap match in Berlin. CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. I got Punk taking the victory on this one. It's easy. It's an easy way to get a victory. McIntyre doesn't have to be pinned or submitted. And then we can move on, or we could possibly even go for a third match later on. Marley, who you got?
Probably gonna go Punk because I feel like none of the major feuds are gonna be settled until Bad Blood.
Right. Brady.
I mean, pretty obvious, I think. Punk wins here. I'm intrigued to see how the crowd reacts. As I said, I've not been in love with the Punk character recently. Drew, European, maybe, he's kind of like the smart fans like favorite right now. Punk legacy star. So it'll be intriguing to see if it's like 50-50, both these guys, or they take one side.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. I gotta go with my guy Phil. All right, as for the World Heavyweight Championship, Gunther defends against Randy Orton. If Randy Orton wins, he will be transferred to Raw, and Gunther will be moved to SmackDown. What if Gunther lost and then went over to SmackDown and took Cody's title? That'd be something. But I think Gunther retains.
Yeah, Gunther retains for sure.
Yeah, and this should be the main event. It's like the only, well, I've been fairly surprised in this build. I don't know if it's more Randy or Gunther, but both these guys have done pretty good for a feud. Everyone kind of knows where it's going, so it deserves to be in the main event. And gives that title a little credibility. We've been asking for that title to be main eventing the entire time, and it never really has.
Gunther's the guy. Stop playing with him. Gunther, the ring general, Gunther. We're just gonna kind of run down Dynamite. We've been here for a minute. John Moxley returns, and I guess he's just calling his shots.
And
Yeah, we got.
fighting with Marina Shafir.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was Marina Shafir at first. She just had like big ass hair and a ton of makeup. But we got Death Rider Moxley entrance music, so no more Wild Thing. Definitely seems like he's a heel, but it's always hard for people to boot Moxley. And he pointed at Tony Schiavone and said, "This isn't your company anymore." So I don't know what it this means. It's intriguing to see where they're going to go. He did call out Darby Allin by name, so maybe that's like the direction they're going. But it looks like we're trying to go with the heel. I don't know, tactician MMA Death Rider Moxley in AEW.
Damn, I said fast, man. I said
Well, Phillip, I can't do fast.
all right. Hangman defeats Ishii, and then Swerve has a promo. What's up with that?
Uh, Fine match. I mean, Hangman plants Ishii on his head, and then Swerve. cuts a very maniacal promo on Hangman. Basically says like, "Look, you're obsessed with me. You know, I don't care about you all that much. I'm out here doing my own thing and being a champion, and you're out here obsessed with me." So, um, and they're having a match all out, and it's gonna be a cage match.
I like that. Jamie Hayter defeated Harley Cameron. Is
Yeah,
that it?
Harley Cameron, come on, with Saraya in her corner. I think they've been kind of on Rampage for the most part, but I do like the Harley Cameron Saraya dynamic. Not a big fan of what Saraya was doing at the All In press conference, but we don't need to talk about that. Jamie Hayter back, love to see that fully back and healthy and getting that women's division some depth.
I see. I see. Daniel Garcia attacks Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
Yep. Maybe doing a pay-per-view recap 8 hours after it happens probably isn't the best idea if you're going to forget Daniel Garcia returns and the Grizzled Young Veterans both returned or debuted, however you want to call it, at All In. So once again, maybe this is going to just culminate it all out, or it's a little bit longer than that. I Rumors and innuendo is that Daniel Garcia still hasn't signed, so we don't know what's happening here. And I'm kind of out on MJF. I was big on his return promo. What he's done recently, not a fan. So I almost
You
say
didn't like the America champion?
I mean, I like the get up. I like the Apollo Creed and Lex Luger combo he was throwing down, but not exactly a lot of the promo stuff or character work.
I've never heard anybody say they didn't like Maxwell's character work. That's crazy.
What, Phillip, were you not here 12 months ago when I was crapping all over kangaroo kicks and having bounce house parties with Adam Cole?
I do remember that actually. I can't even lie. I do remember that.
And I was sounding the alarm bells, and what happens? AEW is in the shitter right now. Maybe they
Hey,
should hire me.
but some people will come after you, bro. No, don't say that. They will come after you. Monet and May celebrate their wins. Wow.
Yeah, just kind of quick stuff. Monet backstage, Private Party was hitting on her, and Kazuchika Okada.
Private Party still employed? Where are they at?
Find them at your local Rampage tapings and collisions.
Yeah.
They never won the tag titles, huh?
No.
But they did beat the Young Bucks on, was it the first Dynamite? But damn,
that was a wasted opportunity, bro. They could have, like, acclaimed as bad guys and Private Party as good guys. They could have had a run with those tag titles. They could have had like a New Day Usos run where you trade them a couple times.
That would have been something.
Here we are. Danielson versus Perry at all, huh?
Yeah, Danielson does the Leo Wolf of Wall Street, I'm not fucking leaving speech. I mean, he did what a lot of people speculated. He's going to hold the title, and whoever beats him for it, then he's going to retire full time, not full blown retirement. And he said, whoever wants it, he did the old John Cena. If you want some, come get some. First come, first serve. And we get a Perry promo. It was a pre-tape, and then Perry attacks him from behind. So putting two and two together, looks like we're getting Jack Perry and Bryan Danielson at All Out. Not official, but official.
Okay, I see. We'll see what comes of that. NXT No Mercy predictions. Just tell me who you think is going to win. Roxanne Perez versus Jada Parker for the NXT Women's title. I got Miss Parker.
Roxanne.
Okay. Kalani Jordan versus Wendy Chu, Jesus, for the NXT Women's North American Championship. I think Kalani holds on to it.
Kalani.
Yep, Kalani. Shout out Rosemary. She was on NXT this past taping Tuesday.
Oba Femi versus Tony D'Angelo for the NXT North American Championship. I got Oba. Nobody taking that off of him.
Oba Femi's murdering him. Gonna sleep with the fishes.
Come on now. Hello.
Yeah, Oba Femi. As much as I'd like to see Tony with it, Oba.
All right, Chase University, Andre Chase and Ridge Holland versus Nathan Frazier and Axiom for the NXT tag titles. I got Chase U.
Chase U. Throw it up.
The U. Not to be confused with Miami.
Chase U.
Okay. And then Wesley versus Zachary Wentz in the singles match.
Wesley,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Zachary Wentz has signed anything with WWE, so it makes no sense for him to win this match.
Oh, what about this one? Ethan Page versus Joe Hendry for the NXT Championship. Trick Williams will be the special guest referee. Do they do it? I know Rosemary was just on NXT. You know, shout out more TNA people showing up. But does a TNA person hold a championship in WWE? Do they pull the trigger? I got Ethan Page retaining.
Yeah. I mean, it would make zero sense for Trick Williams to turn heel on whatchamacallit, Joe Hendry, but I mean they had Pete Dunne beat Trick Williams on NXT, and then Pete Dunne turns around and loses to Sheamus. So I don't know what they're doing with Trick right now. It's baffling to me.
Well, I mean, Sheamus, that's a former world champion, you know.
Trick Williams could be your WrestleMania 45 main eventer.
You want to put your money on that?
I mean, I'd take a flyer on it. I'm not saying he's a guaranteed, no doubt prospect like I was.
I remember something happened years ago, and you said you would eat your hat if it happened, but it happened. You didn't eat your hat.
Well, we don't know what that was because you can't even remember what it is.
No, something happened, and
it's probably CM Punk coming back.
No, it was something else, and then like you said, if it happened, you would eat your hat. I'm still waiting for you. This is like 5 or 6 years ago.
Well, I got tummy issues. I don't think I can eat the hat.
Okay, I see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it for us. Knox Pro Berkeley Brewhouse Brawl is going on. Come see some of your favorite Knox Pro stars. Like Red, Madam PJ Laurier, and more will be in attendance. And then this Sunday, September 1st, the Cornerstone Big Toko's Kickback 3. Marlee will be there. Brandon will be there. I'll be there. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll be there. Yeah, we got a lot going on. The Tonga Kid, the legend, TK All Day will be in the building. You have Beatrice Domino versus Brooke Havoc. You got a dog collar match between Los Ricos and the World's Freshest Tag Team. You also have, what else do we got here? You have a 4-way fade, Vinny Massaro, Vito, Alonso Alvarez, and Rancho Camacho. Devil Mountain Special, Levi Shapiro versus Sean Sims. Nasty Azteca, Dante Daring going up against Fatal, Charisma, and Wicked. Loverboy Leo versus Jordan Cruz. Alfred Kanoka and Righteous Reg will be on commentary. You also will have not a dog collar match. I'm sorry, we already said that. A hair versus mask match, Sancho Demira versus King Gallo. And then, of course, your main event is a South Pacific Scramble. Jesus. Zilla Fatu, Josefa Parisi, Lance Hawaii, Journey Fatu, and Juicy Finau. Not to mention Tonga Loa. They will all be in attendance. That is going down. I don't know if the ring can hold that capacity. Thank you guys so much. As always, be safe and stay dangerous. Yes, sir.
This has been the Bulletcast. Thank you for listening.